Hello and welcome to Edukemy's YouTube channel. My name is Singh, and in this video we shall discuss a featured news for today that is on India-Maldives relationship. India has declared that India will always treat neighborhood first in its foreign policy, and amongst them Maldives is the first country it will look at. In this context we will understand what is the perspective of India-Maldives relationship and the extent of the ties. We will also understand what is the disturbance caused by China-Maldives relationship and the internal turmoil in Maldives itself, the way forward for India in this case. An important feature news, let's discuss this. Now, Maldives, contrary to the opinion that it could be a poorer country since it is located as an isolated country, is not so. The World Bank declares Maldives as a middle high income country with high human development indicators. Not just that, this is a geographically very wide and dispersed country. If you can see, there are 1200 islands in this country, and 1200 islands and just 6 lakh of people who live here. Now this country is geographically very diverse and located at the center, the heart of Indian Ocean, and therefore becomes very important for India. If you can see, there are three important choke points from where trade happens. One is the Strait of Malacca, and then we have the Persian Gulf area, and the other one the area of Red Sea. All these three areas are important for not only India but Southeast Asia and West Asia and Europe to trade with, and therefore India wants to secure an area which is very close to itself. Maldives, joint interest, combined interest, and Maldives actually acts as a toll gate for the country. It became free from UK in the year 1965, and India was one of the first countries to recognize Maldives' presence with diplomatic presence in the year 1972. Right? It is the world's lowest low-lying country with the mean sea level just 4 feet above the ocean presence. All right. So this is about Maldives. Let us understand what is India and Maldives relationship. Now see, India has always had the neighborhood first policy, and the Prime Minister has always spoken that in neighborhood first, Maldives will be the first country we will focus at. India has always been the first responder and net security provider in the region. First responder especially for Maldives. So right back 1972, accepting Maldives as an important nation and neighbor. So diplomatic relation ties were set up, and the embassy was established there. 1988, India helped Maldives go beyond a military coup, helped against it. Then tsunami waves and water crisis in 2014 and COVID crisis right now, India has always helped Maldives. So the first responder of any crisis in Maldives and net security provider in the region also. Maldives also could have gone through an issue related to piracy, and India helped against it. So Indian expatriates present in the country contribute in a number of ways. They are doctors, teachers, they are people who are a part of the regular economy in the country, and of course tourists. 7% of the world tourists in Maldives are Indian tourists. So this is the first approach in which India supports. See, and the second one is the way in which India helps in social and economic development indicators. See, like every country which is going through a phase of recession and COVID impact distress, Maldives is also going through unemployment. And now India is giving assistance in the form of COVID assistance, vaccination, fish processing plant, drug de-addiction center. Since there is unemployment, you will have these kind of issues happening in countries. India is helping. India is also helping them to establish a cricket team of their own and track and field events, etc. Now India has tried to help Maldives in multiple ways. India also sees the whole region with the perspective of mutual interest. Mutual interest. People to people linkage have to be stronger. So, in mutual interest, India sees Maldives at a very static juncture, and India says we will also provide you security for shipping and developing exclusive economic zone. Right. So, India provided two helicopters to Maldives, one in 2010, one in 2015, saying these are Dhruv helicopters. Now you can use them for weather surveillance, for airlifting patients and people in need, and rescue and search operations. This is one thing. India says that we will help you build the Maldives National Defense Forces, the police forces there, a composite training center for those people, and developing a UTF harbor. It's the name of a place, harbor and dockyard. See, when India provided Maldives with ships which can be used for Coast Guard patrol, they didn't even have repair facilities. So India says that instead of you bringing the boat to us to repair, why not we establish a repair facility in your country itself. So it will be a fast action against piracy. This is what India has established, and India has also spent a lot of credit line and billions of dollars on credit and future credit. All right, so easy credit. On the other hand, if you look at China and Maldives relationship, at this point of time, it is a prosperous relationship. But how did it start, and what is the model, and what is the reason for this? Let's understand that quickly. See, Chinese established their diplomatic mission in Maldives only by the year 2012, unlike India, which established in the year 1972 itself. So this focus was received because of diversification. All right, that is one way one can look at it. So China's the presence in Maldives, is qualitatively very different, although substantially they are also into projects. For example, when India is building roads, bridges, and developing exclusive economic zone, developing ports, airports, all of them, China is also doing the same thing. But there is a qualitative difference between Chinese and Indian products. Now, China aggressively invests, and it wants the country to have a debt which can not be repaid soon. Why? Because the asset created will not have a return value as soon. So debt will not be repaid, and through this the government will have to say give some equity, and once equity is given to the Chinese company, then they will have less sovereign rights. The parent company will have less sovereign rights, and this will cause an issue, right? So now Chinese debt, after 6 years of the government there, the last government there, is as much as 25% of the GDP, and the debt, 70% of all the debt is Chinese debt. Imagine this. So it all started with GMR Airport. Indian company GMR was constructing the airport in Maldives, and the contract was abruptly disbanded by Maldives government. Right? They also said, you take back your helicopters. They said, you take back your surveillance helicopters. They're surveying our land, and this is against us. When we are training the defense forces and diplomatic presence of military is there without any harm to Maldives, they say, no, no, this is not done. Military presence is not right. India out policy. So this is all Chinese funded background. In fact, we have Pakistan, Saudi, all of these countries which are present in along with China, and they are acting against India, US, UK, all these countries. So there are two kind of political parties here: one pro India, one against India, one pro China, one pro Saudi and Pakistan, the other pro USA and UK. This is how it is going there. And now the problem is that the tenders and all these projects which are released, they're completely opaque. They're also inflated. There could be corruption there. So the government also does not reveal what is the issue. But now this is not the present government. This was all the action of the previous government. So let us understand what is the internal turmoil in the country. See, there are basically two major parties. There are many political parties, but two major political parties. One is called as Progressive Party of Maldives, PPM, and the second one is Maldivian Democratic Party. Now, the first person that you see here is Mr. Yamin, the pain for India. And the second person here is Mr. Nasheed. He is India's well-wisher and good person, right? Visionary man. And this is the president of Maldives, and his name is Mr. Soli. All right. Now the thing here is that the political party, which is along with Mr. Yamin, is Progressive Party of Maldives. Not very progressive in nature, but Progressive Party. And he was the president from 2013 to 2018. Now, not a president. After 18, he was also in the jail because of some kind of charges, some kind of money laundering charges, and now he has been released from the jail. So, very important political, influence in Maldives. On the other hand, we also had Mr. Nasheed as the president earlier, and now Mr. Nasheed's political party representative, another Mr. Soli, is the president right now. There is not only a turmoil between the Progressive Party and Maldivian Democratic Party, because this party is pro-India and this party is pro-China. There's also a turmoil within the Maldivian Democratic Party. Now, on one hand, Mr. Nasheed says that we would definitely want to have a parliamentary system here because it is more accountable to the ministers. But the presidential form is not accountable. You call a minister, they don't come to respond. No, ministers in the presidential form are technocrats, so they don't come, and then it also question also lapses. We want more accountability. On the other hand, Mr. Solly says we have had given some promises to people, I have to fulfill them. See, there was lately an attack on Mr. Nasheed, a bomb attack, and he got scared. So, a lot of things like religious extremism, it is spreading in Maldives, and over and above India out India out kind of sloganeering is also happening. So internal turmoil does exist here. This is one of the turmoils. The first turmoil is acquittal of Mr. Yamin. So he will be an actionary against India here, and there will be elections in 2023-24, presidential and prime minister. Both elections will happen in the country. So these are important things. Along with that, coalition partners. The see this political party, Maldivian Democratic Party, it won against Mr. Yamin, who was not who was an adversary of India. This party won against him by forming a coalition. Everybody has different interest in coalition, and Maldives economy, which largely revolves around tourism sector, around hospitality sector, is deeply affected. So people have got diverse interest in this tourism business, so their interests are different. And over and above this, India out campaign started. So India also had an issue with it. Why are you starting this campaign? We have not done anything like this. There is no military presence. It is only diplomatic presence in the country, and even if military comes, it is unarmed, and it is only on official duty. So these are the present level of issues, internal struggle in Maldives, basically against two political parties. The third is Chinese presence, which is also influencing the presence of the progressive party of Maldives, and election also on the head. Right now, this is where India assisting Maldives in multiple ways is a great help for Maldives. If you see, after COVID, most of the economies are devastated. In fact, in Maldives, we see a level of Islamization as well, a level of terrorization as well. ISIS has contributed to its force from Maldives as well. So limited resources are present in Maldives. It were there forever. Limited resources. It relies on import, heavily investment by India. And see, India is one of the closest neighbor. No, it is not China. So Maldives is actually dependent on India on many things. So what is the way forward for a country like India in case the progressive party comes in power, in case Mr. Yamin comes in power, who is not a favorable one for India? So we might have to project some hard power. Might, not will, might have to. So military intervention, not at all, because there are other neighbors as well. But see, internally also, Maldives opposition is very strong. Anywhere opposition is strong, the judiciary is strong. So they have been voting against Mr. Yamin's actions previously in case he comes to power. In that case, now, right now, Mr. Soli is there and is favoring India. He recently came to India. Mr. Nasheed also came to India in the Razina dialogue, right? So we can impose sanctions. We can impose sanctions with partners like USA and UK, right? Travel bans can be imposed, hurting some economy, and force some projections that if you are not in India's interest, then these are the actions we can take. We can also limit communication, have blockades, and coastal diplomacy, etc. can be done. Now, so this is a security dimension for India. Political dimension we should not even touch. The internal politics will play, and then it will be all right. But India can definitely project something which is far better than hard power, that is soft power. So if there are some mosques which are old, which are, they can be repaired by the country. There are many people who are in Africa, leaders of African nations, Nigeria, Sudan. They've all trained themselves in Delhi University, Indian National Defense Academy. Now we can do this in Maldives as well. We have been training the police of Maldives. We have been training the hospitality and tourism sector. We have also been training a lot of students, giving scholarships, 1,000 scholarships to Maldivians in India. So all this can be done so that we increase the people to people ties. And this is a small nation, just 6 lakh people. And if we give 1,000 number of scholarships, imagine the kind of influence it will have on Maldives population in future. So that is the way out, having better soft power and better economic participation in Maldives economy, not following China's model. See, China invests a lot of money, and then it also wants the debt to be repaid, right? So debt model is not the way. We have to encourage people, and that's what India does all throughout the world, and that's what India is doing with Maldives. So why India has Maldives as the first neighborhood partner amongst all the neighboring countries, SAARC countries? See, remember, Maldives also SAARC country, but Maldives says let's build a better union, not SAARC, because Pakistan is not active here. So why we want a better relationship with Maldives? Because it is little distinct, little different, little away from India, right? Island, and it is the gateway, the toll gate for India, and other countries are closer to India. So that's the reason that India needs to focus especially on Maldives, right? So it is a small set. It will have a tendency to oscillate. There will be political parties in favor and opposing India, but what is required is to initiate confidence building measures through soft powers, and in case the opposing party comes, then hard power. All right. Now, Colombo Security Conclave was concluded just last month with in Sri Lanka, right? So 5 countries which are participants, and importantly, India, Maldives, and Sri Lanka. These are the main countries. Along with that, Seychelles and We also had participation of Bangladesh, and we also had the participation of Mauritius. Yes, so these are the countries, and this is important for removing piracy in this particular region. So what we studied today is the relationship that India shares with Maldives, a healthy relationship. Along with that, what is the Chinese angle of debt and opacity? We also understood what is Maldives about. It is going through debt. Yes, definitely, it is going through a crisis. Definitely, how India can help, and what is the internal politics that is going around in Maldives. Now, if you got some questions, please put it down in the comment section. And if you've got some, if you like this initiative, share some love through likes, comments, and shares. Thank you for watching.